We have a lot of news and updates regarding the city of Seattle possibly landing their NHL team. We've got all the latest coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and analyze all 31 NHL teams. So if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So things are moving along quite nicely in order for the city of Seattle to possibly land their NHL team. There's been all kinds of little news and notes and tidbits of information that have updated here since we last discussed it on the channel. So I wanted to do an update video today to let everyone know where things are at and how things are coming along with Seattle possibly getting their team. So first of all, I want to mention that today is March the 1st and today kicks off the season ticket holder ticket drive in Seattle. They are now accepting deposits in order to drum up some business here to see how many season tickets they can sell in order to kind of show the NHL how serious the fan base is. I know I've seen that the deposits are anywhere from $500 to $1,000 depending on what level of seating that you're interested in getting. So that's beginning underway today, and we'll see how far they can get with their season ticket drive, but things are well underway there for sure. So that's always good news when they're going forth with that. The last time we talked about Seattle on this channel, we discussed the 13 potential names that was released that the ownership group in Seattle had apparently registered trademarks for. So I wanted to kind of discuss that again as well, because based on the feedback and the comments on the last video, I kind of wanted to discuss which ones on the comments were the most common, and there was actually a few of them that other viewers had mentioned in the comments that were not on the list, that their own ideas that I really liked. So I kind of wanted to put a poll to you guys here and go through some of the most popular choices based on the last video and see what everybody thinks. So here we go. You're going to see it on the screen here as well as a list so you can follow along. So the most common ones, popular picks amongst all the viewers that watched the other video is the Seattle Kraken, the Seattle Sockeyes, the Seattle Totems, but a couple of the suggestions in the comment section that I thought were kind of good were the Serpents and the Thunder. I like the Seattle Serpents, kind of has a nice ring to it. Obviously the Serpent, you know, is something that would kind of sound a little bit fierce. I like the idea of Thunder for a couple of reasons. Obviously, I'm not sure, depending on what you know of the history here with the NBA in Seattle, but when Seattle Supersonics, when they lost their NBA team, they moved to Oklahoma. So they became the OKC Thunder. So obviously they have the new hockey team in Seattle named the Thunder. I think kind of just, you know, makes it feel like they're getting their team back in a way. Just kind of taking a jab at where the other team moved to. And the viewer who left the comment thought it would be kind of a little bit funny and interesting where we have the Tampa Bay Lightning. Obviously when those two teams got together, they have the Lightning versus the Thunder. I thought it was kind of funny, and I like the idea of it myself. But the other connection for me was that where the NBA team left and became the Thunder, you know, they could possibly become the Thunder, and I kind of like the sounds of it myself. Now obviously there is a history in Seattle of the name Thunderbirds, but I like the shortened version myself just a little bit better. Obviously the other option here is we go way back, throwback to way back when there was the Seattle Metropolitans. I do really like that name as well. So leave a comment down below amongst these names which were the most popular in the last video, or some of the other suggestions that came up during that video. Which one do you see that you think would be the best? Or if you have any other suggestions, feel free to mention that as well. But leave a comment down below and let me know what you think of those names. Now, first of all, I also want to mention something here. One of our viewers, Kyle Chang, has been very, very helpful. He sends me articles a lot whenever there's news on this for Seattle franchise, any updates along with ownership or whatnot when it comes to the NHL and the NBA and getting their teams and everything back in order. So I just wanted to take a second to thank Kyle for sending me a lot of the information that I'm discussing here in today's video. So thanks, Kyle, and certainly keep helping out with information. It's very helpful, and I appreciate that. Now, as well, the Oakview Group has been mentioned in talks. They are interested in bringing back the NBA to Seattle as well. So obviously with the arena getting a significant upgrade, I believe it was $600 million it's going to cost for the arena upgrades to get everything in order. And they certainly did acknowledge in an interview through the article that I reviewed here that Kyle sent me. And all the articles that I used for reference here are going to be linked down in the description if you want to check them out. They did mention they would be very interested in bringing an NBA team back to Seattle as well. Obviously that may have to happen through the relocation or expansion. I'm not sure which would be the best option, but based on the NBA, I know the last time I seen any talks, it looks as though I don't think they were too keen or in a position to move any team, so it likely would have to be through expansion. I'm not sure when it's going to go down, but obviously this ownership group is quite serious about bringing professional sports to Seattle, so that's obviously very good news. And from what I can tell as well, the NBA appears to be planning some preseason games for that area, for that arena in Seattle once everything is completed. Obviously that's a few years down the road, but either way, it looks like it's good news for the city of Seattle to not only get a hockey team, but eventually here in a few years, probably a couple of years afterwards, to hopefully get basketball back too. So I think it'd be great for the city. Obviously their formal application was submitted to the NHL for this new franchise. I believe it's almost 2 weeks ago. They had to put down a $10 million application fee with that. So that's all formally submitted. So the city of Seattle has formally submitted their application. They've got their season ticket drive gets underway today. And Gary Bettman was asked recently in an interview about how the expansion rules would work for an expansion draft should this franchise be granted their team. And he basically said it would be very similar to Las Vegas. Now, obviously, when he's been asked about other cities, he usually just dismissed the notion and wouldn't even talk about it. So the fact that he's even talking about what the framework would look like for an expansion draft tells me that this is very likely to go through. I don't really see any reason why it won't. Everything's lining up just perfectly, so I'm not sure when the NHL will make the announcement, but I don't think it'll be too long. I can see it maybe either being towards the end of this season or maybe in the summertime. Really don't know the timelines when it'll be formally announced, but I have no reason to believe this team will not, that they won't get their team. Like, this is going to happen in my opinion. It's pretty much a foregone conclusion, just a matter of going through the formalities here. But now the expansion fee is going to be $650 million, which is quite steep considering that the Las Vegas group, who just launched the Vegas Golden Knights, only paid $500 million, and that still seems like a lot of money, and it really is. But to go we're only talking here probably a couple years in between teams, and for it to increase by $150 million is quite substantial. So I would certainly hope, paying that much more money than Vegas, that they would at the very least get the same draft rules. Obviously the Vegas Golden Knights are quite a story this year and have done substantially well. But obviously there's no guarantee that even with the same rules, the Seattle group would be just as successful off the bat. It's going to boil down to management, ownership, and everything they put together. There's a lot of work that goes into this, but obviously they want to make the rules as favorable as possible for paying all that money to make sure they can put a winning product on the ice as soon as possible. So it looks as though they pretty much get the same rules. I don't think they can make it a whole lot more favorable, because I think there was a fair bit of talent already exposed in the last draft. Although you would think, paying as much more money as they will be compared to Vegas, that I wouldn't be completely shocked if they did ask for even better rules. I'm not sure the NHL can do a whole lot better than that, but we'll see. I mean, I certainly wouldn't imagine they're going to get anything less. That's pretty much for sure. So certainly leave some comments down below. If you're from Seattle, are you excited to get this NHL team underway? Looks as though they'd be looking to launch for the fall of 2020. So that's going to be a couple years away, maybe 2 years from this fall. So it gives them plenty of time to plan and get everything in place. If you're from the area and you have any updates as to how the season ticket drive is going, please feel free to send me any information. We will be doing future videos on the updates and how things are going in Seattle, so we can kind of keep everybody apprised to the latest developments. So certainly do that if you have any information to pass along. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. We're not only going to keep updates here in Seattle, but all 31, soon to be 32 teams in the NHL. If you haven't followed us yet on social media, please go ahead and check that out. You're going to see our Twitter handle on the screen right here. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. All those are linked down below in the description. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time.